All right, if you're an engineer, you know this pain. I mean, some studies show that teams spend up to 40% of their time. That's almost half their week, not fixing things, but just sorting and routing tickets. It's this huge tax on your focus, on your ability to actually innovate. So today, we're going to dive into how AI agents can just completely wipe this manual work off the map. Let's get into it and see how AI is turning this total mess into a super streamlined, automated workflow.
Okay, picture this. We've all been there, or at least we know someone who has. It's the middle of the night, and that pager goes off. You know, that jarring sound that just means something somewhere is totally broken. And your on-call engineer, they're rolling out of bed, heart already pounding a little bit faster. And this is what they see. Not just one critical alert, no, 50. 50 new Sentry issues have just flooded the system in the last hour. So now the real pressure cooker starts. Which one of these is the real emergency and which ones are just noise?
And this, right here, is what we call the triage bottleneck. It's that exact moment where all progress just grinds to a halt. Why? Because a human has to sit there and manually read, interpret, and categorize every single one of those incoming signals before any real work can even start.
So yeah, this bottleneck, it's not just some minor annoyance. It's literally a tax on your entire engineering organization. It costs you time, it kills morale, it slows down your product velocity, and as we're about to see, it's just incredibly prone to mistakes. Now, check out this data, because this is where it gets really interesting. In these manual systems, a staggering 15 to 20% of tickets get sent to the wrong team. Think about the delays that causes. And what's even worse, nearly a quarter, 23%, of all tickets end up in that dreaded other category, which is less of a category and more like just waving a white flag. And this slide just lays it all out, side by side. Look, manual triage is slow, it's inconsistent, and it's constantly pulling your best engineers away from deep, focused work. But with AI, it's instant, it's consistent, and it frees up your team to solve the actual problems, not just play secretary with them.
Okay, so how do we actually make this shift? For years, we tried to automate this stuff with simple keyword or regex-based systems, basically just tools that look for specific words or patterns in the text. But as a lot of us found out the hard way, that whole approach has some pretty serious limitations.
Yeah, this quote from one of the sources it absolutely nails the problem. A simple keyword search is awesome if a user types the word VPN. But what about a sentence like this? Is that a network thing? An access problem? A bug in the business app? A simple script has absolutely no idea what to do with that.
And here's the bottom line. Those old systems are just brittle. They break with the tiniest change in wording. They have zero understanding of context, they can't even handle a simple typo, and yep, they are the direct cause of that giant other bucket we were just talking about.
This is where modern AI, and we're talking specifically about large language models, just completely changes the game. They do something called semantic analysis. So instead of just matching characters like a dumb script, they actually understand the meaning and the intent behind the words. Kind of like a human would.
All right, so let's get practical. Let's break down how this actually works. How do you build an AI agent that can basically act as your new first responder for every single alert that comes in?
The whole thing can be broken down into 4 really simple steps. It all starts with a signal, which triggers an analysis. That analysis creates a structured output, which then lets the agent act. Signal, analyze, structure, act. It's that simple. Let's walk through each one.
All right, step 1, the signal. Your monitoring tool, maybe it's Sentry, detects an error. It fires off a webhook, which is really just an automated message from one app to another. And what's in that message? Usually just a big blob of unstructured text. An error message and a stack trace. It's all useful info, but it's messy.
Okay, next, that messy blob of data gets sent straight to an LLM API, something like Anthropic's Claude. This is the analyze step. And here's the key. Using a really well-crafted prompt, you're basically giving the AI its marching orders. You're telling it, hey, look at this mess, and pull out the severity. Figure out which team is responsible based on the code. Summarize the issue in one sentence, and hey, maybe even suggest a fix, all from that raw data.
And this is the magic right here. The AI doesn't just chat back at you. It returns a perfectly structured JSON object, which is just a standard data format that computers can easily read. This is that structure step. It takes all that chaos and turns it into clean, beautiful, machine-readable data.
And finally, the agent acts. Because that data is now perfectly structured, a few simple API calls can put it to work. A new ticket gets automatically created in Jira and assigned to the right team. A summary gets posted to the right Slack channel. Boom, the loop is closed 100% automatically.
Okay, so let's rewind. It's 3 a.m. again, the pager goes off, but this time our on-call engineer has an AI agent working for them. How does the story change now?
While manually, that engineer was looking at spending, 15 minutes or more per issue just to figure out what was going on. The AI, it does it in seconds. For 50 alerts, that's literally the difference between hours of panicked work and, almost nothing at all.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Before the engineer has even opened their laptop, before they've even had a sip of that middle-of-the-night coffee, the AI has already done the initial triage on all 50 of those issues. It's read every single stack trace and analyzed every single error message.
And this is what the engineer sees when they log on. The AI has already filtered the signal from all that noise. It's identified 2 critical P1 issues, automatically created the Jira tickets for them, and already sent an alert to the high-priority Slack channel. And the other 48 issues? They've been neatly summarized and are waiting for the morning crew. There's no panic, just clarity. The customer impact is minimized, and the engineer can get to work immediately on the fix.
You see, this completely changes how we think about being on call. The AI isn't just some automation script, it's effectively your brand new first responder. It handles that initial investigation so your human experts can do what they do best, solve the problem.
And look, it's really important to understand this. This tech isn't about replacing engineers. It's about getting rid of the tedious, repetitive work that just completely burns them out. It's about augmenting their skills and giving them back the most valuable resource in the world: uninterrupted time to actually build and innovate.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Think about all the hours your team spends every single week just sorting through alerts and tickets. Now imagine all of that time was just given back to them. What could your team build if your most talented people never had to manually triage an alert ever again?